Hello there everyone, welcome to Rupavahini News live on Channel Live.
Hello there, a very good evening indeed. I'm Sharma Skinners.
And I'm Dushan Val. First take a look at the headlines. The Israeli president has said that the current development and the reconciliation in Sri Lanka is very impressive. Academia commends the foreign policy of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Western countries including America have been accused of representing the cursed policies of Tiger sympathizers. A positive change to the Sri Lankan map in the 21st century. Australia emphasizes that the deporting of bogus asylum seekers will be strongly implemented. Now for those and other stories in detail, starting off with the President's tour of the Middle East. President Mahinda Rajapaksa has said that it is his wish to see the establishment of two independent states as a solution to the Palestine-Israel problem. The President has made this comment during the bilateral talks held yesterday with the Israeli President Shimon Peres. The Israeli President has said that the progress achieved by Sri Lanka during the rule of President Mahinda Rajapaksa is very impressive. The Israeli President has pointed out that the development and the reconciliation achieved by Sri Lanka after defeating 3 decades of terrorism should be commended. The President expressed his gratitude for the assistance provided by Israel during the tsunami disaster and explained to the Israeli President about the current progress achieved by Sri Lanka. The President told his Israeli counterpart that Sri Lanka fully supports the two-nation proposal of the United Nations as a solution to the Israeli-Palestine conflict. A group of Israeli businessmen who are engaged in business activities with Sri Lanka also met the President. Their discussions with the President focused on expanding business relations with Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankans in Israel warmly welcomed the President. After a recorded discussion, they presented a memorabilia to the President. The President said that if there is democracy in a country, development will take place in that country. He said that he believes that it is the basis for peace. The President said that peace has been established in the country based on democracy and no one will be allowed to revive terrorism and to segregate the country as terrorism and separatism have been eliminated from this country. President Mahinda Rajapaksa met the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the Prime Minister's office in Jerusalem. The Israeli Prime Minister agreed to popularize the drift irrigation system in Sri Lanka and to provide technical assistance for Sri Lanka's agricultural sector. The President and the Sri Lankan delegation also visited the third holiest place of Islam, the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Walling Way. Meanwhile, the bilateral discussions between President Mahinda Rajapaksa and King Abdullah ibn al-Hussein II were held last Sunday. The invitation extended by the President for the King to visit Sri Lanka was accepted by King Abdullah. The President placed a wreath at the mausoleum of the former Palestinian President Yasser Arafat. The President was felicitated with the honor of the Star of Palestine, which is the highest honor of Palestine. It was awarded to the President by his Palestinian counterpart, Dr. Mahmoud Abbas. The President also held bilateral discussions with the Palestinian President, Dr. Mahmoud Abbas. The President told him at this discussion that it is his wish to see the early emergence of an independent Palestinian state. The President and the First Lady attended a special blessing service at the Church of Nativity at Bethlehem. President Mahinda Rajapaksa was the first Sri Lankan leader to visit Israel after the establishment of that country. Minister Professor G.L. is monitoring MP Sajid Wasgunawardana, parliamentarians Kamala Ranatunga, John Amartunga and Roshan Ranasinghe, and Secretary to the President Lalit Veeratunga associated the President in these visits. The President and the Sri Lankan delegation returned to the country today after a very successful official tour to the Middle East, which brought in several benefits to Sri Lanka.
Academics point out that a positive sign has been shown by the President and the government's foreign policy to have cordial relationships with all countries in the world. The President's Middle East official visit was a significant example in this process. The academics made these comments joining the live discussion program of Ira Andurupata of the National Rupavahini yesterday. Veteran artist and journalist Edwin Aryadasa said that 3 countries visited by the President were countries that focus much attention in the world recently. Therefore, the visiting of these countries at the same time and meeting their leaders and holding discussions with them is a very significant diplomatic service carried out by the President. Senior lecturer Jagat Vellawatha said that the President's visit was a very significant diplomatic mission. The gaining of confidence of these countries simultaneously is very noteworthy. He said that as far as he is aware, no country in the world has gained the friendship of Palestine and Israel simultaneously, as it is very difficult task. The news editor of the island newspaper, Shamindra Fernando, said that we have received much assistance from Iran. He said that Iran and Israel are 2 countries that clashes with each other immensely. In such an atmosphere, the President has been able to win the hearts of the leaders of both countries, and it is a very significant sign. Senior lecturer Jagat Vellawatha said that the highest honor of Palestine, the Star of Palestine, has been awarded to the President. Similarly, the road in which Sri Lanka's representative office is located has been named as His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa Road. These are not mere signs. Veteran artist and journalist Edwin Aryadasa said that the President is a very impressive man and is introducing a balance of power strategy. Under this strategy, those who oppose Sri Lanka for petty political objectives will get exposed. The new foreign policy strategy of the President has become helpful for nullifying the empathy of countries which work against Sri Lanka. Senior lecturer Jagat Vellawatha said that it is necessary to take bold decisions about foreign policy similar to the daring decisions taken for ending the terrorist war and for the launching of development process. The cooperation that will get established by these bold decisions will be much beneficial for the future.
Dr. Dan Jayatilaka pointed out that Western countries led by the United States is making war crime allegations against Sri Lanka due to their pro-Tiger terrorist cursed objectives. The pro-Tiger sympathizers have not abandoned their Elam dream. Dr. Dan Jayatilaka made this special statement to the National Rupavahini, commenting on the pictures published by the American Embassy official website about the visit to the North by the American Special Representative Stephen J. Rapp. The American representative for war crimes, Stephen J. Rapp, made a 5-day official visit to Jaffna recently. After his visit to the Pudumatalan area, the Twitter account of the American Embassy in Colombo published several pictures. In one of those photographs, it has been titled as the place in which several hundred families were massacred in the month of January 2009 by a shell attack from the Sri Lankan army. The BBC News Service said that the American Embassy office has confirmed that it is their official stand. Dr. Dan Jayatilaka pointed out that the Western cursed policy of presenting war crime allegations against Sri Lanka is clearly displayed by these predeterminations.
Which is quite unfair, it's imbalanced. It goes completely against the norms of diplomatic conduct. If the US Embassy can already conclude that the Sri Lankan army shelled and killed thousands of civilians, then we know that this independent international inquiry will be nothing but a lynch mob. It will be a frame-up. So there will be no objectivity. The end game has already been scripted. And this signals a very serious danger to Sri Lanka. We have to recognize the game plan here. And it is not the game plan of a friend who is trying to assist reconciliation or even the objective search for the truth and accountability.
The attempts being made by pro-Tiger terrorists to present human rights violation charges against Sri Lanka cannot be undermined. Dr. Dan Jayatillaka emphasized that it is the timely responsibility of all Sri Lankans to defeat all conspiracies against the country, taking into consideration the historical betrayals that happened in Sri Lanka in the historical past.
When certain privileged elements who had a problem with the governance of the then ruler of Sri Lanka, Sri Vikramarajasinghe, conspired with the British and betrayed Sri Vikramarajasinghe. Now, it was not only Sri Vikramarajasinghe who was betrayed, it was the country and sovereignty. So, we must not consider the problems and the contradictions, the criticisms we have, quite rightly, of the establishment of the status quo of the regime to be more important than defending the sovereignty of the country and defending our armed forces who defended us against the LTT. That is the primary task. So, as citizens, we must be very clear that this is a danger to us all, to us as a people, to us as a nation. It is an existential threat.
In other stories, the controversial Indian embassy official has left America to India. The American government states that she was ordered to leave the country. The embassy official named Devyani Khobragade was taken into custody last month for not paying salaries for her domestic maid properly. She was charged with violation of visa rules and for making false statements. She was taken into custody in a despicable manner and was subjected to various tortures and was also subjected to strip search. It is also reported that she was kept in custody together with the major criminals. India reacted strongly for this inappropriate punishment to their embassy official. In response to this incident, India took several steps against American embassy officials. Indian political parties, people's organizations and the Indian media expressed strong objections to America in this connection. The diplomatic service level of Devyani was upgraded and the American government was requested to accept the protection required by her. Although America requested to change the service level of Devyani, the Indian government rejected the request. Despite filing criminal charges against Devyani, the American authorities decided to send her back to India. Devyani has expressed her gratitude for the Indian government, the people and all political parties for the support extended to her.
Minister Vimal Veeravansa said that the Western countries led by the United States are once again spreading separatism in this country. He said that these countries had taken the predetermination and predetermined decisions about Sri Lanka. The minister made these comments addressing a media conference held in Colombo today. Minister Vimal Veeravansa said that we have become victims because of establishing peace in the country. He said that the country has been internationally pressurized for defeating the LTTE. In the future, they may carry out this agenda in different forms. At present, an American representative has come to the country to look into the war crimes allegations, and he has gone to Jaffna and taken photographs near buildings in Pudumatalan, and the American embassy to the site has published the photographs saying that they are in a building where the Sri Lankan army killed several hundred people by carrying out cluster bomb attacks. They have said that because of that, an international investigation should be carried out. The minister said that even before an international investigation, this American gentleman and the American embassy lady has made predeterminations and telling to the world that the cluster bomb attacks were made and several hundred people were killed. The minister asked what is there now to investigate as they have already made the determination. He asked whether it is not a predetermination. The minister pointed out that what they want is not to investigate whether there were war crimes, but to punish Sri Lanka for eliminating the LTT terrorism. He said that they are also attempting to create divisions in the country and implement their programs as they created divisions in the past between the royal family people and the ordinary people. The Service Association has vehemently condemned the pressures being exerted ordered the Northern Province Secretary, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi, to resign from her post. The association said that there are officials in the association who are prepared to work under any administration. The association emphasized that these members are not prepared to work for the implementation of the petty political objectives of other people. These observations were made by the representatives of the association at a media conference held in Colombo recently. The Northern Province Secretary, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi, has 24 years of experience in the administrative service. She said that since recently she is receiving threats on the telephone, even from foreign countries. She has also received threatening telephone calls asking her to work in support of the Tamil National Alliance. She said that on several occasions she received death threats over the phone. She also stated that these telephone calls have demanded her to resign from her post. The Sri Lankan Administrative Service Association warns that this could be a precursor for establishing a separate provincial administration in the north. The chairman of the Sri Lanka Administrative Service Association, Kamal Padmasiri, said that there are no problems of working under the prevailing political atmosphere. The Tamil National Alliance has got the mandate of the people and they have no problem of working with the Chief Minister of the Northern Province. He said that they are attempting to get Mrs. Vijayalakshmi transferred out and replaced with those who will oblige their orders. He said in such an event, the administration in the area will collapse and it will also affect the development process.
Sri Lanka has achieved the tourist targets set for last year. The immigration report points out that more than 1,270,000 tourists visited the country last year. The report has been prepared based on data provided by the Immigration and Immigration Department and the Sri Lanka Tourist Board. The tourist arrival target set for last year was 1,200,000. Compared to the number of tourists arrived in the year 2012, the tourist arrivals last year has registered a 26.7% increase. Majority of the tourists has arrived in the month of December, amounting to more than 153,000. It is the objective of the government to get 2.5 million tourists by the year 2016. For this purpose, new expressway, harbours, airports and modern hotels are being established. Several other hotels are being refurbished. The number of hotel rooms is to be increased up to 50,000. The Tourist Development Bureau said that by the year 2016, Sri Lanka will become the most attractive tourist destination in Asia. The Managing Director of the Sri Lanka Tourist Promotion Bureau, Rumi Joffer, said that the increasing of the arrival of tourists have resulted from the promotion activities carried out in several countries. He said that the Bureau is targeting to get more and more tourists for countries such as China, Japan, Russia and India.
Strong economies China, Russia, Japan, India.
The first ever International Investment Promotion Forum for the Eastern Province will be held at the Town Samudra Hotel in Colombo on the 17th of January. Minister of Economic Development Basit Rajapaksa will be the chief guest at this forum. Minister of Investment Promotion Lashmanya Pabewardhan, Minister of Justice Rauf Hakib, the Governor of the Eastern Province Riyad Biral Mohan Vijay Vikrama and Chief Minister of the Eastern Province Najid Abdul Majid will attend the forum as guests of honour.
The government of Sri Lanka under the leadership of our President Mahinda Rajapaksa has initiated a lot of infrastructure development during the past 5 years. Almost the entire road development has been done and the infrastructure development, whether it is electricity, irrigation sector and what you call harbour, mega projects, most of the road network, bridges, so many other activities have already been done and everybody could come and witness the development what the government has undertaken and done within the past 5 years. Therefore, it is the right time for any investor to come and grab this opportunity.
The third conference of the chairman of the SAARC Civil Service Commissions commenced at the Cinnamon Grand Hotel today. The objective of the conference is to explore solutions for problems being faced by the state and civil services of the SAARC countries and exchange experiences that have been gained in this field. Senior Minister Dr. Sara Thamnagama delivered the keynote address at this conference. The conference will be held for 3 days, and the problems being faced by the SAARC countries in implementation of civil service activities will be taken up for discussion during this period.
In December 2012, it was stressed upon that member countries should share
I have myself been a public servant, and perhaps I would not have become a secretary.
The Public Service Commission, Government of
The Minister of Health, Maithripala Sirisena, said that the year 2014 will be declared as a national anti-narcotic year with the objective of building a society devoid of narcotics. The first program in this regard will be implemented on Monday, and it will be considered as a day against smoking, and food walks and lectures have been organized to enlighten people in this regard. The first Provincial Health Ministers meeting of this year was held in Colombo today. Minister of Health was the chief guest. The minister addressing the function said that more than 20,000 people die each year in Sri Lanka due to smoking. The Minister Maithripala Sirisena said that the gazette notification issued in this regard with the smoking is being held in the courts due to the interference of white men from the United States and England. He said that despite any objection, implementation of that gazette notification will be carried out and the challenges will be overcome step by step. The minister requested the provincial ministers to enlighten the public and obtained their support for this struggle. First aid kits worth 100 million rupees were distributed to the provinces. Deputy Minister Lalit Disanayake also attended the function.
And for a look at business roundup now. A new publicity campaign has been launched for Sunstar Cement. The objective of this publicity campaign is to expand the distribution of Sunstar Cement, which has become the leader in construction sector. The wholesale Lanka company has decided to make Sunstar Cement easily identifiable to the consumers. A media conference in this connection was held at the corporation premises in Puttalam recently. The deputy chairman of the company, Vikum Nalinkanna Ratna, said that the Sunstar Cement has gained the confidence of consumers for almost 100 years. Awards have been presented to the livestock entrepreneurs of the Central Province. Steps have been taken to uplift the local milk production industry. The award festival was held at the auditorium of the Upcountry Association in Kandy recently. 5 journalists of the Central Province were presented with awards for the services rendered by them for uplifting the local milk industry. The Governor of the province, Tikiriko Bakadua, and the Chief Minister, Saratheka Naika, were the chief guests at this function. The Chartered Accountant Piyadasa Kudabalage was appointed as the Managing Director of the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation. Mr. Kudabalage functioned as the Executive Director of the Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation since 2010, and he has been made great contributions for the development of the financial stability of the Insurance Corporation.
Australian Premier Tony Abbott has defended what critics have described as government secrecy over asylum policy. Officials have in recent days refused to comment on reports that Australian naval forces have turned back at least one boat to Indonesia. Asylum seeker accounts have also alleged mistreatment by Navy personnel. Abbott, who promised a tough line on the asylum issue when he took office, said restricting information flow boosted operational enforcement. The number of asylum boats traveling to Australia from Indonesia rose sharply in 2012 and the beginning of 2013. Indonesia serves as a transit point for the people smugglers who ferry people mainly from Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran and Sri Lanka to Christmas Island, the closest part of Australian territory, on rickety and overcrowded boats. Dozens of people have died making the journey in recent years. In response, the Labour government reintroduced offshore processing on the Pacific island of Nauru and in Papua New Guinea's Manus Island. It also said that people found to be refugees would be settled in Papua New Guinea, not in Australia.
And with that, we wrap up today's news bulletin. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night.